Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude and part 3 of the 1/35th scale Trumpeter Tiger 1 Late. Okay, so in the last episode, I did step 1. Yes, just one step, but I went into detail on a lot of stuff, and it should hopefully start moving a little bit quicker now. But I just got all these parts done, and I had my first experience with the kit supplied styrene Zimmerit panels, and have to say that they work very well. So this is what they look like in place. Now, one thing I said I was going to do before this video was sand all this smooth so the Zimmerit was flush with the top of the side panels of the sponsons here on the upper hull. And I've done that, and then once I did that, I used some Tamiya extra thin cement and just brushed on there to get rid of any fuzziness or anything like that. So with that recap out of the way, we're ready to move on to step 2. So step 2 is the assembly of the suspension arms, the final drive covers, and starting on the wheels. So like I always do, I will demonstrate the first couple of parts, cutting them from the sprue, how I clean them up, and all that. And then the rest of them I will do off camera just to save some time. So let's find now the nice thing about the Tiger tank, or at least this one, is all of these swing arms are all B3, so you don't have to worry about different, like on a Jagdpanther kit I've been working on, some of the swing arms are just a little bit different, so you have to be careful. In this, we're good to go. So I'm going to demonstrate the first one here, and it is B3. So let's cut one off using the old Tamiya flush cutter. And then just cut the sprue gates off. Now, one thing to consider here, and I'm not condoning laziness or anything, but I am condoning be efficient with your time if you want. Everything on these swing arms is going to be completely invisible. So if you cut something a little too close or it's not quite cleaned up perfectly, no need to really sweat about it because it's going to be behind the road wheels. Now, if you were doing, say, a maintenance scene or something like that on a diorama with the wheels off, yeah, you'd want to make sure that you're really getting this right. So anyway, that's that. Pretty easy. It's ready to go. Sand it down just a little bit just to make sure. All right, so that's one swing arm. So that is one aspect of step 2 that needs to be worked on. So let me show you how I do wheels next, because it's a little bit different. So we need G2, which are these right here. So I'm going to cut one of these off, same way. Now, these aren't quite as bad as the rubber road wheels, because they don't seem to have as much of a seam. So again, I just cut it like that. And then there's a couple of ways you can do this. Some people just like to sand it like this. I like to do it like this, because I can control sanding the curve a little bit better to get that seam line, the mold seam line sanded down. I just have a little bit more control this way. And sometimes, well, most of the time actually, I use some fine wet or dry sandpaper because it gives me more surface area to use as the grit starts getting clogged up. And I just keep turning it like that, being careful not to round it off this way. And by turning it like this, I avoid flat spots. That's the way I do it. There's a lot of people that do it different ways that, you know, get the same or better results, but this is just the way I found works for me. And voila, nice and smooth. Now I've demonstrated that, and I've got a whole bunch of wheels and a whole bunch of swing arms to do. I'm gonna do that off camera. All right, so I got all of the swing arms cut off and ready to go. So they fit in there, and they fit pretty well. It's kind of a keyhole type thing, and it's got a corresponding tab that fits in the keyhole. So here is something that you'll want to make sure of. So when gluing these things in, because there is a certain amount of slop, right here, like that, you can end up with floating wheels, which means your wheels, when they're all installed and you've got your run of tracks, if one of the swing arms is out of whack, you could have a wheel that's like suspended up. Obviously not that much, but you get what I'm saying, and that looks funky. And if you're a contest person, that will definitely get you dinged. Me not being a contest person, that's not my concern, but I do want it to be flat. So let's see, I'm going to check something here. So the objective is to get your wheels, or your swing arms, all nice and level. So the way I'm going to accomplish that, oh my goodness, that one really, there we go. The way I'm going to accomplish that, so I'm going to glue these things in. I'm just going to test fit them here real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this I want to keep them all even is what it's boiling down to when I cement them. So let me monkey around with it and see how I'm going to tackle this. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. Using this straight edge here, I'm using it because it's higher up off the surface. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down, push this up against each axle to make sure they're pushed in flush, while simultaneously making sure that it's pushed down and flat. Okay, if that makes sense. And then I'll take my extra thin here and glue them from the inside, because the axles poke through, and the aforementioned capillary action of Tamiya extra thin will pull the cement into the joint, thereby creating a nice, strong, and straight connection. Just like that. Okay, let that dry for a few seconds. Then I'm going to do the other side. All right, while that's drying, I am going to cut off the final drive covers, which are A23 and 24. Now some manufacturers have started putting their sprue gates off of the rounded edge. So for example, if you can see here, let me slide this over. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. The sprue gate is on this surface instead of on that curved surface. That way you don't have to worry about as much about flattening off a spot of the rounded edge, the curved edge. And all you do is you take your cutter and cut it up against a flat surface like that, and you don't have a flat spot on the curved edge. So that's kind of a cool bit of technology that makes cleaning these things up a little bit easier. So I want to let those swing arms dry really well before I start messing around with other things. So I'm going to push it aside, and while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to step 3 here. And I'm going to cut off G9 and G5, start gluing those together, as well as the idlers and the drive sprockets. So let's get a G9 and a G5. And glue them together. So what I'm going to do though for this is I'm going to be using this cement. The reason being is I can't get a brush down in there to use to be extra thin. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this, just a little bit around the edge like that. This part fits inside of here. Put them together, spin it around to spread the cement. Make sure it's parallel and set it aside. With all those drying, glued and drying, I'm now going to cut off G1 and 8, the idlers. And to glue these together, they have a much larger ring here, but there's a little tab there that fits into a slot there, so it's just a matter of putting in place. And these, there's enough, it's close enough to the joint that I can use extra thin to glue those together. That. And then finally, parts G3 and 4, which are the drive sprockets. Okay, now these, the sprue gates are actually on the end of some of the sprocket teeth. And the only reason I bring that up is sometimes they're down in between, which is weird. But on the back side, there's a delineation between the tooth and the sprue gate, whereas there's not on this side. So flipping it over so I can see what I'm doing. Here, let me cut this out of the way first. I'm just lining it up with the end of that tooth and just cutting it off at the appropriate angle. If there's a little tiny bit of sprue gate left, just hit it with a sanding stick, or you could even use a knife. And then just hit it on the top like that. And there you go. Same thing here. Here. With just minimal work, they'll be indistinguishable from the rest of the teeth. Once it's cleaned up, then it's just a matter of gluing it together. Again, there is a notch and a tooth, but if you'll notice, there is a certain amount of slop there. So when you glue it, you want to kind of look at it from the side and make sure the teeth are lined up really well. And for this, I'll be using Tamiya Extra Thin. Like thusly. Look at it from the side and make sure it is straight. And that will take care of that. Alright, now with that, while the wheels and all that's drying, this has had enough time to dry so I can jump back to step 2 and the final drive covers and the idler axles. Okay, so I got this one in and they're quite a tight fit, but it's okay because it'll pop into place. There is a keyhole and then a corresponding tab there, and they just fit just like that. So, like always, when I can, I like to glue the part from the back. Doesn't really matter, but that's just the way I do it. I could glue it here as well, I guess. And then the final drive covers, they are not sided, so they'll fit on either. They should fit on either way. 2 holes, 2 pins. Just like that. This one, I'm going to use this. Like that. Make sure that's pressed in really well. Might even clamp it just to make sure it stays. Smashed up against there like that. Then likewise on the other side. That's a tight fit on that one. But alas, in the end, I've been successful. Squish that into place. We'll let that dry for a little bit, and then we can come back and start taking a look at the wheel situation and all that. All right, everything's pretty much dry, so let's take a look and see what we got here. So, whoops. The way it goes together is these go here. If I can get a grip. Like that. Then, I guess that doesn't matter on that one. So let's see, then these go here. That. Then these go on here. Like that. Drive sprocket, idler. Boom. there you go. That's all the wheel situation. Now, what I need to decide is how I'm going to approach this, because I know for sure that I am not gluing this stuff on yet, because if you've watched my videos before building armor, I like to paint the hull and everything first before I add the road wheels, suspension, whatever. So let's see here, what am I going to do? So I'm not thinking that I have to glue these later, these parts here. I should be able to glue these now, and then when I put them together, it's just a matter of kind of interlocking and interleaving them as I go. And I think that's probably what I will do. I've done it before on other Tiger / Panther kits where you have that kind of a situation. It can be a little tricky, but that's generally the way I like to do it, because I don't want to have to glue these on top of here while they're in place. And it'll just make it a little easier to paint. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue all of these together. Okay, so I got all the wheels glued together, and I'm going to show you how you can do this without having to do it like the instructions show. Instructions show inner wheel, middle pair, and then the outer wheel. Okay, like I said, I like to just have them all glued together. So here's what you do. Take this one and this one and get it started. Okay, like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then make sure those are pushed in. They're loose enough that they'll kind of flex out a little bit. And there you go, they're all on. Then you just put the drive sprocket in place like that, the idler like that, and you are done, just like that. Okay, and obviously you'd want to put glue in there before you go put them all in place like that, but that's all there is to it. I find it to be a little bit easier than trying to glue that one on top of that one with the other in between it. So for safekeeping, put the wheels in here and set them aside so they're ready for paint. So that ends step 3 in its entirety. So the next step is step 4, which is tracks. So I'm going to end this video here and do tracks next time. In a separate video, because I want that to be a standalone video in case somebody just wants to do the tracks or wants to see how the tracks are done. So that will end part number 3 of the 1/35th scale Trumpeter Tiger 1 late version. So as always, if you have any questions, hints, tips, concerns, anything else, put them in the comments section down below and I will get to you as soon as I can. So until next time, for step 4, I will see you all later.